Another mass shooting, this one at Covenant School in Nashville, led to the deaths of 3 beautiful children and 3 adults yesterday. Another day filled with thoughts and prayers, and with politicians from across the political spectrum talking about how their hearts are broken. Another day of those whose whole public platform is built on hate and violence, claiming the name of Christ to push for legislation that limits free speech and that oppresses the vulnerable, including trans people, black and brown people, and queer people. Yet these very politicians claim to be powerless to stop mass shooting. Let's not confuse lack of will with powerlessness. The reality is that the United States is addicted to violence and has made an idol out of gun ownership. Too many followers of Christ would rather follow the NRA than the Prince of Peace. We as a nation could stop gun violence if we wanted to, but the truth is, we don't want to. We, as a nation, find the deaths of children a small price to pay in order to continue our idol worship of violence and guns. Christians, God invites us into a new way of living, a way where all life is treated with dignity, where children are loved and cared for, where justice reigns, and where we are committed to loving one another rather than killing one another. Following Jesus means rejecting the values of the empire. It means being willing to sacrifice our individual wants and desires for the greater good, especially if our individual wants involve weapons. We as individuals and as nation don't need to continue living in fear, shrugging our shoulders, sighing, and wondering if the next mass shooting would directly impact us and our loved ones. We don't need to keep living like this. But in order to stop the killing, we need to be willing to stop worshiping at the altar of guns and violence. And Christians, we need to make the decision. Are we going to worship Jesus, the Prince of Peace, or the NRA and guns? Too many Christians claim to follow both, but the reality is worshiping guns negates the ability to worship Jesus and vice versa.